Hey everyone, and a very warm welcome. Today, we're jumping into a really fascinating passage from the Quran. Honestly, it reads like a divine playbook for how to handle conflict, when to seek peace, and what it means to believe. It's a total masterclass in strategy, but one where strength is defined in ways you might not expect. All right, let's get right into it. So, to kick things off, let me ask you something. In any conflict, any challenge you face, what do you think the ultimate source of strength really is? Is it about having more people, more money, a better plan? Well, this passage offers a pretty compelling answer, so let's explore it together. So where does this whole strategy even start? Well, it all kicks off with a foundational belief, a lens that you have to look through to understand everything else. And that is the idea of an unseen, all-encompassing divine plan. This verse right here immediately reframes the whole power dynamic. The message is simple but profound. No matter how strong or successful an opponent might seem, they can never, ever outrun or outsmart the divine plan. And this isn't just about feeling better, It's a real strategic mindset. It means any victory an enemy has is just temporary. And their arrogance, that can actually be their biggest weakness. Okay, so once that foundation is in place, the text gets super practical. It lays out an external strategy, and it's built on this incredible balance between two commands that seem like total opposites. And this is where you see this incredible tension. On the one hand, you're commanded to prepare with everything you've got, your power, your resources, your money, to build up a deterrent so strong that it makes the enemy think twice. But then, in the very next verse, it says if that exact same enemy turns around and offers peace, you must lean into it. The goal isn't just to fight. The goal is security, and peace is always the better way. But, that brings up a massive question, right? How on earth can you trust an enemy's offer? Well, the answer is tied up in this absolutely crucial concept, tawakkul. This is all about complete trust and reliance on God's plan. You can think of it as the spiritual engine that lets you take that risk for peace. See, you're not accepting the offer because you're naive or foolish. You're accepting it because your ultimate trust isn't in whether the enemy is sincere. It's in God's protection. And, this leads right to the next obvious question, one the text totally anticipates, by the way. What if it's all a trick? What if their offer of peace is just a big setup? And the guidance here? Wow, it's so direct. It looks that fear of being tricked right in the eye and gives the ultimate reassurance. If they're trying to deceive you, your protection isn't about being smarter than them. Your protection is God, who is described as being completely sufficient. The idea is that divine support is always going to outmatch any human scheme. All right, so that's the external game plan. But now, the passage pivots and looks inward, to the source of a community's real power. And it makes one thing perfectly clear. This is something you just can't buy. I mean, really think about it. How do you actually unite people's hearts? Especially when they've got a history of fighting, of deep disagreements. Can you just throw money at the problem? Can you force people to feel a bond? Well, the text has a pretty profound take on this. I mean, what a powerful statement. The idea here is that real, deep, lasting unity, it's not something humans can just create. It's a divine gift. You could literally spend all the money in the world and still fail to bring hearts together like that. According to this verse, that kind of true unity comes from a shared spiritual connection, something guided from above. So this really ties everything together. What's truly enough? What's sufficient? The text says it's two things: Allah's absolute support and the support of a united community that's following the path laid out for them. The takeaway here is just crystal clear. That spiritual strength, that unity, it is way more critical than any material stuff you could ever have. Okay, so for our final point, we're going to see how all of this builds to this absolutely stunning conclusion. Something that totally flips the script on what victory even means. So the prophet is told to urge the believers to stand firm, if they must. And then the text lays out some mind-blowing math. It says, get this, if you have just 20 people among you who are truly patient, they will overcome 200. I mean, that is a 10-to-1 ratio, right there. But the passage isn't done. It really wants to hammer this point home. So it keeps going, and if there are 100 among you who are patient, they will overcome 1,000. And the reason it gives is because the opposing side is a people who do not understand. And that's the whole ball game right there. It's saying that this quality, this patience and understanding, it acts as a force multiplier. It fundamentally outweighs pure numbers and completely changes the odds. And that's really where this whole divine playbook leaves us. From preparing for conflict while always being ready for peace, to trusting in a protection that's bigger than any scheme, to valuing a unity that no money can buy, it all leads to this final powerful question. What if the greatest strength isn't about what you possess, but about the quality of your endurance and the depth of your faith? It's a powerful idea to sit with.